Welcome to Cheat Masters. Join us for relatable cheating stories that will make you laugh, cry, and nod your head in recognition. Cheating in a relationship can be dangerous, and it can even land you in jail if you can't control your temper. My wife is 41 and I'm 36. She works as a cashier at a bowling alley part-time, a few days a week. This is where I met her years ago. One Friday night, she was there with some friends, bowling a few games. Her full-time job is as a receptionist at a car dealership, where she's been working for the past 10 years. As for me, I work at a computer company and I'm a part owner. I do pretty well for myself. My wife doesn't need to work, but she chose to. At one point, she worked for her father, but left the company after they had a disagreement. I'm 6 feet 4 inches and 58 years old, not in the best shape, but not overly obese either. We've been married for 8 years, and we don't have kids. Throughout our marriage, we've never had any trust issues. I had access to her phone, and she had access to mine. One day, I got off work early, and my wife was at her part-time job. She wasn't supposed to get off until 11 p.m. For some reason that day, I felt an urge to upgrade my phone. I checked our phone bill and noticed there was a third line. I was thrown off. Why was there a third line? I immediately called my wife, who was on a break at the bowling alley. She must have thought I was completely naive. The excuse she gave me was that she had gotten a line for a friend of hers, who was being abused by her husband. The friend didn't want to use the phone they had on their plan, because she feared her husband might be tracking it. I immediately became defensive and asked her who was paying for this line. She snapped back, saying that she was. For some reason, I didn't believe her. I don't know why. Nothing about the situation felt right. Our sex life was normal, with us being intimate 2 or 3 times a week. She always answered my texts, and for the most part, she answered my calls. The thought of my wife cheating on me had never crossed my mind. However, when she came home that night, she was noticeably distant, almost as if she was trying to avoid me. I didn't say anything or yell at her, but I decided I would keep digging. I couldn't believe the story about her friend needing a phone on our plan. It didn't make sense to me. Her friend could have easily bought a burner phone. So, I devised a plan. I needed to investigate further before confronting her. The phone numbers on our bill and her phone didn't match any of the contacts we had, so it didn't seem like she was calling or texting anyone. However, things began to change about 2 months later. One day, I was driving home from work, and as I passed my wife's job at the bowling alley, I saw something that stopped me in my tracks. A man and a woman were kissing on the side of the building. I instantly recognized my wife from the leggings she was wearing, the ones with a distinctive design. They were completely oblivious to their surroundings, and I was in our company truck at the time. I made sure to enter the parking lot from the other side, so they wouldn't spot me. When I approached them, I couldn't contain my anger. I pulled the man off her, punched him, and slapped my wife. I know it was a dumb mistake, but I was furious. The police were called, and I was arrested for assault. This was my first offense. Fast forward 5 months. I was convicted of simple assault fine and given a 1-year suspended sentence along with 3 years of probation. During all this, I filed for divorce. The divorce itself was straightforward. She didn't get anything. She moved out of the apartment we were renting because she couldn't afford to stay there anymore. Later, I found out that the phone she'd gotten wasn't for a friend as she had claimed, but for her affair partner. It didn't make sense to me. I couldn't understand why she would lie like that. Then, her friend later admitted that my ex-wife had been lying all along. Her husband had never been abusive. So, here I am now, trying to rebuild my life while dealing with probation, which is unsupervised, by the way. Update. It's been 3 months since everything happened. The court case, the divorce, and her moving out. I downloaded a few dating apps and met a young lady. She wanted to go bowl, so we ended up at the bowling alley where my ex-wife worked. It wasn't my idea, but my date was keen to bowl a few games. I was up front with her and told her that my ex-wife worked there part-time. When we arrived around 9 p.m., sure enough, my ex-wife was there. To my surprise, she couldn't take her eyes off me and my date. All I could do was shake my head. I didn't go to the counter for drinks or food. Instead, I gave my date some money and let her order for us. Here's where it gets interesting. Remember when I mentioned that I was out of shape and a little overweight? Well, that changed after the divorce. I started going to the gym, and my clothes began to fit much better. I still had a few love handles, but I was looking good. When my date went to the bathroom, my ex-wife saw the opportunity to approach me. As soon as she did, I threw my hands up and told her I didn't have anything to say to her. We had nothing to talk about. My date saw this and, naturally, got in my ex-wife's face. They were about the same height. My ex-wife just walked away, and after that, we left the bowling alley. Second update. After the incident at the bowling alley, the girl I had been seeing started having her own issues, so I stopped seeing her. Let's just say she had a drug habit. Meanwhile, my ex-wife had been slowly trying to re-enter my life. Rumor had it that her affair partner had dumped her, and she had even lived in a shelter for a short time after being evicted. However, she managed to get back on her feet quickly. Fast forward 2 weeks, and when I got home, I was shocked to find my ex-wife sitting at the door. She looked like she had been beaten. She had a black eye, blood running from her nose, and a scratch on her neck. Before I walked up to her, I took photos of her injuries with my phone and called the police. When they arrived, I made it clear that I didn't do this to her. I showed them the photos and told them they could inspect my hands. They did. And after ruling me out, my ex-wife confirmed that I had nothing to do with it. It turned out that her affair partner, the same man she had cheated on me with, was the one who had beaten her. I'll admit, I felt sorry for her because she was clearly spiraling out of control, but the truth is, she made these choices and she had to face the consequences. At this point, I couldn't hold a grudge anymore. Too much negative energy wasn't good for me. But I wasn't about to let her back into my life. Even after all of that, she didn't give up. She kept calling and texting me. I never answered or returned her messages. One day, she showed up at my job wanting to talk. I told her, "Not here." She left and never came back. I never heard from her again. Fast forward 2 months. I found out she was back with her affair partner, the same guy who had beaten her up. Rumor had it that they were living together, but one of her friends told me that he was already cheating on her. Well, she would soon find out that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Once I found out, I changed my number and removed her from all my social media pages, including Facebook. Anyway, that's my story. Sorry for the wall of text. In my opinion, cheating in a relationship, as I said in the beginning, is dangerous. But don't resort to violence. A cheater doesn't deserve that kind of mental and emotional energy. If your partner is cheating in your relationship, thanks for watching. Do not forget to like and comment and press bell icon for more cheating stories.